Well, guys, welcome back. The P's have had a bit of time off, and we've used that time to hone our technical skills to such a level that we made a total hash of it. So, basically, guys, we don't know what it was. I think possibly my phone was close to the microphone, and it's put some distortion in. So every now and then I sound a little bit like a Borg. Sorry about that. We've done what we can. We've re-recorded a few bits. We've scrubbed a few bits out. I'm absolutely convinced that it's actually the Cicatrix maledictum that's causing that, or Gork's grin, as those orcs call it, that's causing that problem. Ben tells me, absolutely not. He's been, worshipping the Emperor, etc. properly, but we all know that really it's chaos. It's getting into everything, and it is absolutely gonna get you. Enjoy the episode, guys. Grab those refreshments. Good evening, listeners. Welcome to 2019. We are one step closer to the rise of the most righteous, glorious War Master Horus. And, Ben?
Yeah, I think it's Blade Runner this year. We've done Back to the Future. It's Blade Runner this year, so...
I can't believe I haven't even got a rise out of you.
No, I was just ignoring you, dude. The start of the year as I mean to go on.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah, it is Blade Runner.
It is Blade Runner, isn't it?
Blade Runner this year. Yeah.
So how do we know that you're not a synth?
Well,
we don't.
You don't.
Ooh. Right, what we got planned, dude?
Well, a couple of things have been announced, haven't they? So, as normal, we'll go on the hobby desk, find out what we've been doing over Christmas. I've been probably putting snow on everything, but that's not a Christmas thing. I'm just obsessed with it. Then we've got the Galaxy of War. So loads of stuff announced. Vigilus has come out, and I've bought and read through that since we spoke to you guys last. And also we just had the open day, the New Year's open day, where we've seen a bunch of cool stuff. We've done stuff for Necromunda, doing stuff for Titanicus. So yeah, lots to talk about there. Then into the Mortal Realms, and it's Grotz Mushroom Madness.
Hey!
Ben has never been this excited about mushrooms, have you?
No, that is genuinely true.
Flipping hate mushrooms, and yet this is a lot. It's incredible, really. But there we are. That's how much you love them. Community, there's loads of cool stuff been going on the community. I've spotted some cool stuff I want to shout out, and we've got a bit of a competition to talk to you about. And then finally, the Wilds. So Ben and I did discuss all the cool new stuff for Middle-earth, but then we thought, no, we will stick to, we are the ones for planning and doing things with a structure. So we will wait and talk about Middle-earth on the next episode, but Ben's got some stuff for Test of Honor to talk about anyway.
Yeah.
I think that's everything, and we'll try and actually talk about those things.
In some sort of order.
In some sort of order, yeah. Okie dokie, dude, are you ready?
I am.
Let's go. Oh no, hang on. Grab some refreshments in 2019. And let's go onto the hobby desk.
Hi guys, and welcome to the first hobby desk of 2019. I'm gunslinging refreshments here. I've got a pint of Diet Coke in one hand and a cup of tea in the other, and I don't know which one to go for first. So I'm all ready to go. We've had Christmas, so hobby desks are weird in Christmas. I don't tend to get much done over Christmas at all. It's sort of my annual complete reset, and also because the children are just untamable, frankly. So yeah, we've got some stuff to talk about though. So, first off, I thought we'd have a quick look back at what we've done over the last sort of 12 months, Dan.
It might be quicker to look at what you haven't done.
Yeah. I have never had a more productive year. I am so proud of that.
Yeah.
When it comes to painting, I've done over 240 models this year, and I'm super happy about that.
That is incredible, dude. And it's such a wide range of things as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm really happy with the standard I got them all to as well. If they were speed painted, they were speed painted to a standard, and I'm really happy about it. If only I'd been painting that number of models for the last 15 years, I wouldn't have such a massive pile of unpainted plastic.
You would have
There we
a significant number
of Spaceballs.
Well, yeah.
Well, goblins.
It's probably for the best then that you haven't.
I wouldn't have anywhere to put them all.
Oh, don't.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, when it comes to sort of timetabling stuff in, last year we had a big conversation about hobby resolutions and a painting timetable. And I did one at the start of the year and I stuck to it mostly, although some things got swapped out. And I found that really helpful, sort of having a plan and saying, okay, you've got 2 weeks to do these 5 primaries, you've got 2 weeks to do those 5 primaries, you've got a week to do these. And I got them done in a week.
Yep.
If you know what I mean.
Yep.
Because I'd set that on. I said, right, no, that's happening. And if you're running out of time, you just need to cut corners. You know, not do that little bit of extra detail that you were planning on, unless it's a character model, and then I let myself go and just take as long as it takes. But I planned in enough time to do that. So I found that really helpful, and I'm going to be doing something similar this year. I'm going to sit down and do that. I have found, though, that Games Workshop's release schedule is like throwing a tribble into a spaceship.
Yes. I like that analogy. I like that very much.
And it absolutely ruins my painting schedule. I've done nothing but want to paint Blackstone Fortress for the last month and a half, but I couldn't because I had other projects on that I'd planned in. And now I've got Spaceballs to do so we can get our armies sorted. So
don't start talking about Blackstone. I don't have Blackstone, and now that bloody Amble has come out, and it just made me really excited for the whole concept of like getting it all painted up and then collecting up the add-ons. Yeah. Well,
I don't know why they didn't do add-ons for the other Warhammer Quest games, because I mean, they always did for Hero Quest and Space Crusade.
Maybe it didn't sell as well as this.
Maybe.
Because it's worth, that came out a little while ago before the sort of renaissance, as it were, of Games Workshop, and it's...
I don't know, Silver Tower was... I don't know, maybe during the release.
I try not to think about when things are released, because inevitably it makes me feel old.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. Absolutely. I can vouch for that.
So I don't need that.
So, yeah, release schedule's messing up painting timetable. So this time I'm going to plan in a degree of flexibility, in case they release something new. And I'm not going to I've decided I'm not going to jump on a new army bandwagon. That's not happening. So if I'm going to do an army, it's going to be planned at the start of the year, and it gives me time to settle into the idea of what I'm going to do with them.
I love that statement. That is a brave statement with the current release.
Well, Grotz are happening, because Grotz were always happening.
Well, yeah, no, that's fair enough. I don't mean the current release, the actual release. I mean the release schedule at the moment.
I mean, if they release like a warband or a box set that I quite like, something small, although Blackstone Fortress isn't a small project by any stretch of the imagination, but then I'll probably get involved with those things and paint them up as I go.
Mm-hmm.
But if they released a new army, I still think I prefer to have time to let the idea settle in. I might pick them up to paint in at a future date, but they would be planning for the next year.
Yeah, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. So what would be your Achilles heel then?
High Elves.
Yes.
Flat out High Elves. If they released High Elves, I'd be done for. Absolutely done for. But there we go. So painting wise over Christmas, I haven't done anything over Christmas, but the weeks leading up, and I couldn't talk to you on the last podcast because I was working on the Red Angel for you.
Yeah.
Which was so hard not to talk to you about.
Mate, I still don't really know what to say. It's awesome. It's so good. I was so excited. And I had no idea. Like, none at all. And the funny thing was, like, the week before Christmas, or was it 2 weeks before, Ben Chambers was round, and we were painting. And he said, is Ben working on anything? I was like, nah. I said, it's really weird. I'm a bit worried about him. because he's normally like firing away, and he's so ill, he's not painting, and I don't. So that it's just weird. I miss having.
Well, I was ill, and I didn't paint for a good few weeks, but I did start a lot. I did get stuck into that way before then. Yeah.
Yeah, it's flipping amazing. Even down to the, I love the like plinth thing.
The what? Sorry.
The plinth.
The plinth. Yeah, I wanted to keep that quite simple.
Yeah, but it's brilliant.
It was a totally different project for me because I've never done a bust. And actually, I didn't realise he was that big. I mean, he is big.
He is big. That face, mate, that you've done is something else. Like all the different sort of colours in the skin, bringing that realism. It's just brilliant.
Do you notice I gave him yellow eyes?
No, I didn't notice
that. Ever so slightly, yeah. I was going for the Sith Lord look. Corrupted. No, he was really nice to work on. I mean, Artel Williams models got my vote now. I mean, the resin was smooth. There was so little work to do to clean him up. It went together really well. I only had to gap fill the tiniest amount with some resin, some fur around the left arm, but I was really impressed with it. I ummed and ahed about leaving the axe on and off, but I kind of felt it was better off in the end, actually.
Yeah, I think it was certainly be easier for the transport, and it sits fine.
Yep. Yeah. Really, I'm really chuffed with him. He's probably, especially the face, because I did sit down and spend a long time with the face to get it right. So yeah, I'm really pleased you like it, dude.
I love it. I absolutely love it. It's good.
And since then, I haven't painted a thing. Apart from helping my daughter paint a certain plaster of Paris horse that got gifted to her for Christmas.
Well, I had to, had to be a painting thing, didn't it?
Yes, it did, yeah. But you, my goodness, you've already done something 2019.
Yeah. So, talking about painting resolutions. So firstly, I've been authorised now to share this news, and probably I'll be in trouble really for not sharing it right at the start of the podcast in my excitement. But basically, there is another mini jolly on the way, which you obviously know and have known for a while.
Woohoo!
But, yeah. So, growing the brood, as it were. So that is obviously going to be quite an impact around May time on hobby time. So with that in mind, I was like, right, I got to get on it. And on what I was finding last year is quite often I would go for periods of time where I just wouldn't paint, and then I'd get frustrated because I couldn't find the time, and I wanted these big long sort of painting sessions. But yeah, you will remember we talked a bit about War Boss Kurgan, I think it is, isn't it?
Yep.
Who does
yep.
What is it? 15 minutes, 30 minutes?
I think it was not long.
No, it's only like 15 or 30 minutes. So every day. So my resolution, hobby resolution, was to paint for 30 minutes every day. And I've chatted to Harriet, and we've got a bit of a regime in place, which allows that to happen. And twice already, and we're only 6 days in, I've had 2 days where I've really not felt like painting at all, but I've brought myself in, sat down, put on my lamp, and just spent half an hour, and invariably I sneak an extra couple of minutes in, and so I've painted 5 corridor gangers, and I've made
and they look really nice, man. They look so Necromunda.
Thank you. Yeah, I was thinking of you actually while I was doing them, because I was like, oh, they look nice. They're nice and clean, and I was like, no, come on, get the weathering powders out.
Yeah.
So I got them.
Can't have a corridor ganger looking clean.
No, I know. Yeah, but it took me long enough to be convinced to put blood on my corn, didn't it? So I am a bit strange like that.
Yeah, pretty much.
I've made a start.
Strange as they come.
Yeah. I've made a start on my Gaunt Summoner as well for the painting competition. This month's painting competition is Arcane Power, so he's pretty arcane and pretty powerful. So, and he's from the Silver Tower. And within that is another one of my resolutions, which is to, I suppose there's kind of two things really. One is to paint in smaller batches. So rather than deciding to do 40 Blood Reavers, unlike the mighty John, who is doing that JK Games, rather than doing things like that, which I've done previously, and I get frustrated, and they just take ages and ages and ages, I'm going to do smaller batches, hence doing 5 Cawdor, because originally my plan was to build all 30 and do them all in one go.
You have 30 Cawdor.
Yeah, and the trouble is, like, because I hadn't built the others yet, I was just losing my sort of passion for it, so I thought, I'll just paint 5 of them. And that's really, really helped. And the other thing, which is to take a leaf out of your book really, is not to paint 2 army types, I suppose, in a row. So if I've just painted 5 Cawdor, now I'm painting a Gaunt Summoner. The next thing I paint will not be an AOS Tzeentch character, mainly because I don't have any. This is not a great example. But for example, if the next thing I did was paint Karanak, which I've built him, by the way, and 5 Fleshhounds, even though I wasn't going to buy Wrath and Rapture. I don't know what happened there. If I paint Karanak next, I won't then go and paint the Fleshhounds. I'll go and paint a Titan from Titanicus. Because I know you've said it a few times and I've laughed it off and all, but like it's been nearly 2 years now where I've just been painting Khorne with the odd other bit. And in the back of my mind as well, I've got this idea that if any project takes me more than a week, maybe 2, but week, is stop, do something else, and then go back to it. And that's really been born out of trying to paint 2 Helldrakes, which was just a stupid idea. Even though I convinced myself it wasn't. I've made some good progress on them, but they're a long way off and a lot of work off. But that's fine. They'll sit there. My Bloodthirster got painted eventually. They will.
I think what's hilarious is that I've been making these suggestions for at least 12 months, but...
Yeah, there's another hilarious suggestion, actually, from you. Painting handles.
Oh, yeah.
So painting handles is the funny one.
What's the point in painting handles, Ben? Why have you bought 5 of them, Ben?
Yeah, you don't need it. It's ridiculous. You can just hold the model better. Oh, this is superb! Actually, what happened there is I actually bothered to try it out, and it's really good.
Oh, right. Yeah, it is.
So, rather than just formulating my opinion.
Joking aside.
Pardon?
Joking aside, they are great. They are very useful.
Yeah, I was
whichever painting handle you're using. So if it doesn't need to be the Games Workshop one, whatever painting handle you're using, they do change things for the better.
Yeah. Help with a bit of stability, I found.
And if you don't mind you saying, your hands can shake sometimes, so that's probably quite useful to be able to...
Yeah, well, it's funny you should say that, because I've noticed it's been a bit worse recently, and so it's not, it's fine, but it's just been bloody annoying me, so the handle's really helpful on that point. So I do want some more of them, because when I was painting my Cawdor, I was like, one, take him out, put another one in, out.
So you need how many, Dan? 5.
8.
8. Yes, 8. Yeah, very good.
Always 8. So
I think
I'm excited, dude. I'm excited for this year's hobby.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, come the end of May when Jolly number 2 appears, that may scupper some stuff a bit, but you've got to have a plan going into it.
I think even if you cut it down to 15 minutes, it's important to have that touchstone. Because we all know, everyone who's a parent, and anyone who's even watched a parent knows that kids are stressful, and sometimes you just need to tap out for a quarter of an hour, if you can, and have a moment of peace. And for me, that would be painting. But I mean, everyone does their own thing. So I think it would be sensible to at least try.
Yeah.
I'd come and babysit for you, dude. But you're living all the way over there. It's a long drive.
I know. I'm sorry about that. It is a bit of a way. So there's a few things. Resolution.
What you've just been talking
last
about...
year. So looking back, because I know you looked back. Sorry, what were you going to say then?
I thought my microphone wasn't working for a second. Then actually, I was just checking I was plugged in.
No.
I said,
that's the reason, dude. That is there every time.
What you've just been talking about reminds me of how Tommy talks about motivation, because people ask him a lot about motivation, and he basically said to me, and he says it over and over again, and it's the best advice I've ever heard about motivation, is sit down at your desk, pick up a model, get some paint on the end of a brush, and put it on.
Yeah.
And then just let it go from there, because you will then motivate yourself. And you either want to paint or you don't want to paint. And you have to, if you don't want to paint, then that's fine. If you do want to paint, that's also fine. But if you want to paint and you can't motivate yourself, just sit down, get a brush, put some paint on it, put it on a model, and see what happens. And inevitably, you'll end up motivating yourself, just like you've had over the last couple of weeks. Those days when you're not really sure. I've had them. I have them all the time. I come in from work and I'm like, I just cannot deal with anything. But I forced myself into a chair and started painting, and it all just slots into place. So I think that's...
Well, what we've done, which is, not that we want to do like parenting 101 in the hobby or anything, but we've got it so I come home from work and go and pick Joshua up from nursery. I bring him home. Harriet comes home from work, and then I'm sort of playing with him, and I love playing with him straight after work anyway, building all the train tracks and things, but it gives Harriet a bit of space when she comes in from work. I pop the dinner on, cook the dinner, and that's kind of a family affair. Joshua likes to climb up on a chair and have a look and see if Daddy's cooking potatoes tonight. And demand fish fingers as well, which he has tried
ice cream
to eat.
For breakfast.
Yeah, ice cream for breakfast, fish fingers, which he's not. I don't know where he gets his impatience from, but he doesn't like waiting for them to be cooked. You have to take them off him when he's trying to eat them frozen. But anyway, so that happens, and then after dinner, that's when I get my half an hour. So I come upstairs and I have half an hour doing me painting, and then I set up everything for the bedtime routine, the mission that is the bedtime routine, and then I do the bedtime routine, which is a good hour to pull that all together. But it's nice because it gives me that little break in the middle, and I feel really refreshed. From doing a little bit of painting, and it's nice to see a bit of progress. Desk's really untidy though. You can tell when I'm feeling motivated and into it, because I don't spend ages just. I mean, I finished the corridor and I didn't put all the paints away again before I started the Gaunt Summoner. That's how motivated I was to paint. Man.
Well, I don't know who would possibly leave paints out all over their desk. I mean, some kind of heretic rebel would do that.
Yeah. So that's...
I was just saying to you, wasn't I, that you can tell when you haven't... It's all very well having a messy painting area, or messy hobby zone. When I'm working in here, I know where everything is. If I have a couple of weeks off, I'm like, where the hell did I put that?
Yeah, absolutely. And just to touch base really on what you were saying about last year. So I didn't quite hit your level. I think I painted 87 models. Quite a few big things. Finishing off the Forge
Bloodthirst, didn't you?
Yeah, and finishing off the Forge Fiends.
Yeah.
I did paint most of that was Lord of the Rings, actually. A big chunk of, but I've painted 3 Hell Brutes, a Bloodthirster, finished off the 2 Forge Fiends. So some quite.
How about the Skull Cannons? They were this year, weren't they?
No, I think they were last year. I think I did them before I did the Forge Fiends.
Crikey.
Yeah, I know. So some bigger things got done last year, which was good. But gaming-wise, I think I played 65 games last year. I wanted to play one every week. So on average, I managed that. So that was good, and across quite a range. Not a lot of 40k, actually, which is interesting, because 40k was always my first love when I first got into the hobby. But lots of Necromunda towards the back end of the year. Really enjoyed that. Yeah. Lots of Age of Sigmar. I love Age of Sigmar. I love how it plays. A few other bits and bobs here and there. So yeah, I was really pleased with my gaming year. I got what I wanted.
Well, that was your plan, wasn't it? You had your swanky, logbooks.
Yeah, I got my logbooks and I got my calendar. Or I had my calendar. No Black Library calendar this year, mate.
Wasn't there?
No, gutted.
What is that about?
I don't know.
I'm still looking at the Lion and Night Haunter.
We think we've got flipping problems with Brexit. There's no Black Library calendar, mate. That's what we need to be getting on the petitions about. Not good. So maybe it is because of the uncertainty around Brexit. There's no Black Library calendar, and that is its biggest impact. Absolutely devastated.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, hopefully that.
Moving swiftly onwards.
Yeah, moving onwards, away from the political impact of no Black Library calendar, because that could be, sensitive subject.
Well, you won't know what date it is.
I know. How am I going to know?
In fairness, I don't know what day it is half time, so.
No, me neither. So yeah, that's some hobby desk stuff. Do we want to go into the Galaxy of War? I could just talk all day about just stuff.
Painting models.
Yeah.
I have a new toy to play with here. I've got the large painting handle. I haven't opened it yet, actually.
Oh. Quick, live unboxing on a podcast.
Live unboxing.
Look at this.
On the podcast.
We're trendsetters now.
Oh man, it's huge.
Don't take that out of context. What?
That's like the hilt of a sword. It's massive. Let's get a big base. Have I got a dreadnought to hand? Oh, I do.
Have I got a dreadnought to hand? That is Ben's hobby space.
Yep, pretty much in a nutshell. I do have a dreadnought to hand. I have a Space Wolf Venerable Dreadnought. Let's see if I can fit you in there. Wow, easily. Oh, that's not even in the biggest space. That's in the middle space. Well, I'm impressed with that.
Excellent. That's good to know.
Yeah. So our first on-air unboxing.
Have you tried I didn't know if you already had. See, when I was trying to decide what to get you for Christmas, it's like, what do you get someone that has a lot of stuff already and a lot of does a lot of painting already, It's like, it's got to be interesting. And that's why, ironically, I went for a bust.
Yes, I know. It was funny, really ironic. Was it? It's a cracking bust as well.
I knew I wanted to get you one. I knew that's what I wanted. And then I was looking, I was like, I don't know. I did think samurai. And then I saw that and I was like, well, that's what you do, isn't it, for your reenactment? Yeah. So yeah. That was good. But I also, then I was like, well, I want to just get you some random stuff. So I didn't know if you had any of those Vallejo metal colours.
I don't, and I'm very chuffed to have got my first one because I've been meaning to pick one up for a long time.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to you trying. Well, did you try them out when you were here?
Nope.
No, they're lovely, mate. They're lovely. I probably just didn't tell you I had them. But
that's normally the case. Dan, do you have this? No. And then he's using it in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Come on, dude.
And then there's a mini painter paint in there, which is just a random colour. Just because I came across those the other day, and they are stupendously cheap for what's in them.
Really?
That pot was £1.40.
Yes, and talking about paints and prices.
Yeah. No, well, more importantly, have you used the Pepsi Vanilla Cherry Lip Balm that I got you?
I have. Only because my little girl got a lipstick for Christmas, so we were putting, rather than her putting on her pink Barbie lipstick onto me, I said, I'll use mine. So,
I didn't actually, that isn't even what I ordered. I ordered just a cherry one. But you got cherry vanilla and you love your random flavours, so Why not?
Well, I mean, it's worth explaining why that's funny, because I love cherry cola, and Dan hates it.
And I hate it. Well, it's worse than that. You love Pepsi cherry cola.
Pepsi Max Cherry.
It's Pepsi Max Cherry.
Ambrosia.
And I am a Diet Coke man. Although, dude, the world is changing. That is another non-hobby related resolution. I am not drinking Diet Coke now.
I couldn't do that.
Well, I went to the doctor about some stuff, and he reckoned the caffeine was not good.
No, it can really get, it's full of caffeine.
And Ben the Bass knows things about like nutrition and health and stuff, and he was like, "You shouldn't drink that," and so I don't know. But there we are. That's a completely not really hobby related thing at all. What were you saying? Oh, prices. The paints are going up by 20p, so that's going to break my bank. I don't know what I'm going to do.
I mean, in jest, yeah. It's not a massive increase in reality, but at the same time, it now makes them twice the price almost of a Vallejo paint.
Yeah, but you are paying. Look, we could go
round
the houses on this. You're paying for the convenience. You're paying for the fact that you know, okay, if at the end of the day, if you're really advanced into your painting, whatever, you probably know exactly where you're going to get your paints. You know you can get them cheaper from on the internet. Fine, go for it. But if you are not in that place and you want a bit of advice and stuff, you know, you could go and rock up to Vallejo's headquarters, I suppose. Cost you a fair bit in the plane fare and all the rest of it, depending on where you live. But you do know you can go down your local hobby centre and get a little free. Well, that's part of the added value, isn't it? Being able to have a little painting lesson, and you know, Geraint, well, Jay as well in Bristol, and those guys, they're fantastic painters. But it's no use asking me, man. I've got 2 of the Citadel water pots.
That'd be really suck it. Is that one for each paint station?
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Oh my days.
The next level would be making sure I've got a metallic one and a non-metallic one. But
have they? Oh no! What is that? What you get? No, don't.
No, I'm not going to, because there is a problem with them. I have found.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know. Washing them out. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because of the plastic, the material of the plastic, or the ridges on the bottom. But like when I'm using one of me cups, me mugs with the colours on, the Citadel colour mugs, you just turn the tap on and it blasts all the stuff out of the bottom. And that doesn't happen on the Citadel water pot. You have to get a brush and like scrub it out. So I was like, oh. But it has got Citadel written on the front, so I am good with it.
Fanboy.
Start collecting boxes are also going up, aren't they?
They are.
I don't know what to buy though yet, so some of them are mental. Some of them are just, I think it's the Fire Slayer one is like the same price as the Magma Droth that's in it.
I wonder if they're all going to go up.
I hope so, but only by a little bit. Because I just like things to be the same price. But
yeah, and I was just thinking the thing that upsets me the most about it is that they won't be around 50.
Yeah, well, they might be around. Yeah, I know, it's nice. £150, you know, it seems like even more of a deal, doesn't it?
Yeah. As long as they don't make it sort of around 60. That could that'd be disappointing.
Well, it'll be what it'll be. It ain't going to stop me wanting toy soldiers. I don't think I'll be getting loads of new ones this year anyway, because there's another Sprog on the way. But to be honest, though, you know, if I wanted to do goblins, if I got a ball and chain and gave it to Joshua, it wouldn't be far off.
No, genuinely, no.
No.
It wouldn't.
Oh, you got him a cardboard castle, man. Flipping brilliant.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun building that. But
did he get to colour it in? Because the whole point was he coloured it in.
He did colour it in a bit, but unfortunately we had to take it down because he's a little bit naughty for his mum. And I was going to work in the morning getting phone calls because he wouldn't come out of his castle. Get dressed. Which is really funny, but it wasn't funny for Harriet.
No.
Like, every time he needed his nappy done or something, he'd just run in his castle and shut the door. And then refuse.
Amazing.
She had
That
to pick it up,
amazing.
dude. She had to pick it up over his head and move it out of the way to get to him.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. That's and bearing in mind, this thing is big enough that Harriet can fit in it.
Well,
so.
yeah, Harriet went in it. He got me in it, but I didn't really fit, to be fair. He was like,
No.
I got in it, and then he was like, lie down, daddy. And I was like, seriously, dude. I ain't gonna lie down in this. What is that about?
Right, I think it is now time for us to go to the Galaxy of War, dude.
I think so, because we're going everywhere with this. Right. Okay.
Let's do it.
Let's go. Into the warp.
Best left unheard.
Welcome, listeners, to the grim darkness. Where it's actually pretty awesome, because there's a whole load of stuff been announced, hasn't there, dude?
They're never going to recruit you for audio novels, dude. Just, I don't want you to get your hopes
Why?
up with that one. No reason. Yes, there's been an awful lot of
you just
awesome.
attacked, like, my audio ability while we're recording our podcast?
On a podcast?
What the heck?
I'd never do that.
Well.
Now that's reflected back at me, I feel very bad about that.
Moving on, let's look at the pretty models and we'll soon be forgotten.
Well, we actually had to sit down and write a list of everything. It's been ridiculous.
My list just says Chaos Sorcerer,
Chaos
Sorcerer, possibly Apostle, actually. And it just says that repeatedly. And, and the clawed talon in the background of the picture. Oh, dude!
Okay.
I'm so excited
Should we start with the floating candle man? Who looks like a Catherine wheel.
See, he does look like a Catherine wheel, actually, doesn't he? Brilliant. I like that. Now, what somebody suggested... See, when I first saw him, I was like, he looks like a sorcerer. But...
Yeah, I still think he is.
Well, yeah, the thing that makes me think he still is he does look like he's floating.
Yeah, he's definitely floating. And he's got like a sorcerer-like staff. I don't think he's a Dark Apostle.
But he would make a good Dark Apostle.
Well, he would, yeah. Or maybe he's usable as both.
Maybe.
I don't know. But,
or
maybe, who am I to make a comment on heresy? So, it could be whatever. I don't
More
really
importantly,
know.
though, so this is all part of the 80-day countdown for Vigilus. And the other day, I think, was it yesterday or the day before, Warhammer team posted up a picture of just the spear in the ground, and it said 20 days have passed, 60 remain, Vigilus will fall. So it's definitely going on, and I bought Vigilus, just the book. Yeah, not the planet.
It's not really. It's cheap real estate at the moment,
true.
dude. They're selling
That's
it all.
True. It's brilliant. It's a really good book. I really enjoyed
it. Isn't it?
I really enjoyed the stuff about the Primaris. I've really enjoyed the different stages of the battles. I've really enjoyed the listings of what's like, who's there fighting. The orcs are flipping hilarious. So yeah.
I had a bit of an epiphany reading the bit about the I've forgotten the name of it now. The chamber thing.
The Rubicon Primaris.
The Rubicon Primaris, and it talks about all of the worries and speculation that the Primaris and other Space Marines have about the Primaris, and it dawned on me that they reflect almost exactly the worries and speculation of the community.
Yeah.
And it hit me like a bombshell. And if they are doing that, and they are listening to what people are saying, and taking it one way or the other, then I tip my hat to them, because that is impressive. Very, very impressive. I suppose it's a watch this space kind of thing, isn't it? Really, but it talks about where the fear that the Astartes have that they're going to be redundant, and it talks about the reassurances that the Calgar and Gilliman have given the old Astartes. That is exactly the same reassurances that Games Workshop have given the community. That the Primaris is different and the Astartes are different. They both can exist. I just was reading it thinking, this is so familiar. That's great.
I don't know if...
Very clever.
I don't know if we spoke about this, but I remember thinking to myself, this is one of the reasons I was pleased that they... Well, I say I was. I know initially I was not. But I am pleased that they brought the Primaris in as a continuation of the story, rather than just going, oh, here's the new Space Marine models. Because that way, Mark 7 and before that, or Mark 8 even, still have a place.
Still have a place.
They will always have existed in the timeline somewhere, whatever happens in the future.
And to be honest, the more I think about it, I'm not sure I'd have done it differently now. I mean, they were planning it for years, and I wonder if they didn't come... The more, like I said, the more it sits in my mind, the more I think that I don't think it could have been done any other way. But I really liked about it is because I'm a big fan of the original book Space Marine, where Space Marines went from chem-enhanced, effectively criminals for the, gangers and maniacs, and then psi-indoctrinated and chem-enhanced to make the Space Marine. And then the book Space Marine was written by Ian Watson, and it redefined what they were. I don't know whether he wrote it and then the Space Marines followed, or whether Games Workshop wrote what they wanted the new Space Marines to be, and then he wrote the book off the back of it. But it turned them into genetically modified, highly selected, highly trained, all of those things. With really sort of detailed look at what the Imperial Fist did as their kind of culture within the Astartes themselves. So things like the Pain Glove, where they have to ban the Pain Glove as a pastime in the Imperial Fist because they compete to see how long they can spend in it. And effectively, it's just a suit that they wear that activates every pain fibre in their body. And originally it was a punishment, but they compete with each other to see how long they can spend in it, because it doesn't kill them. Which is insane, but kind of benchmarks how tough these guys are. When they were talking about the Rubicon Primaris, I was dreading it was going to be something like what happened to Gilliman, where they were just going to stick a box around them and some magical voodoo stuff would happen and out would pop a Primaris. I would have absolutely hated that, because that's not what they were about. That's never been what the Space Marines have been about. But to read that it is effectively, they cut open Calgar from head to foot and grafted on all of those, steel fibres and implanted the damn thing in his brain, and various other places. And it was so traumatic he died, and then the furnace kicked in.
20 minutes, he was dead.
Yeah, and brought him back to life. That is wicked.
Yeah.
Absolutely wicked. Because it becomes like then it will become a test of a Space Marine's courage and fortitude as to whether or not they can go through it. And that makes it even more wicked. So, for me, any Space Marine who's gone through the Rubicon Primaris and become a Primaris is twice as hard as a start in Primaris. Flat out. Because they've chosen effectively to risk their lives. It's a 60% chance. 60% chance of success. That means nearly 1 in 2 will be, at least 1 in 3 will not make it.
Yeah.
So it's a big decision to make.
Yeah.
So I think it's wicked. I think the whole thing is wicked. The background is ace, and I've only dabbled into the bits because I only got it for Christmas. I've only dabbled into bits and bobs of it, and I've loved every single page of it so
the
far.
campaign, the way of doing a campaign in it is really cool. The rules for doing a campaign. By breaking it down over 6 weeks and having different special rules in effect on the different weeks. I really enjoyed it, reading it. I think it could be really good. And going back to Space Marines, because why not? And I was going to wait and do this in community, talk about this in community, but Voxcast has launched since we last spoke, which is the Warhammer 40k official podcast. It's fantastic.
Wicked, isn't it?
So did you listen to the one with Jez? And he was talking about Space Marines and how, like, Primaris, even when people... I loved it. He was like, if a normal Marine becomes a Primaris, but the shoulder pads still fit. It's like, this is my favourite shoulder pad, so I'm taking this shoulder pad with me. Because they've got that kind of attachment to their war gear type thing going on. And he talked about how they were deliberately sculpting the line troopers not to be covered in detail and then just to make it so your captains could look a bit more standout-ish and stuff like that. Really interesting. Yeah. I to be honest, I've listened to the Voxcast and to Stormcast, and I've loved them. I really love them. Really interesting.
Yeah, it makes you think of throwing the towel in, doesn't it? If it could get 1 hour.
Well, it does when your co-host and mighty mate says that audibly you're not very good, or implies it, I should say. So yeah,
voice like Barry Manilow, dude. We love it. We love you. Right.
Let's get into Gene Stealer Cults.
Yes,
so Gene Stealer Cults. So we've seen even more of them. They've got a flipping drill. They've got a drill scenery piece, which is brilliant. Apparently, it creates earthquakes, which is good.
Really nice thing to convert into a mole as well for Imperial Guard players.
It's going to be pretty big.
I just love the character models. Well, the mold isn't small, dude. The Forge World one is big.
Yeah. It looks great, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It really does. It's a centerpiece piece of scenery. If that makes any sense at all. But yeah, it's not just a little thing sat on the side. I love the characters. They're all so different, and they're all convertible in their own way to be something else. If you're not into Gene Stealer Cults, they're so flexible. I just think they're brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And like I said, they're all so different. No two of them are at all the same in any way. So I really like them, and I love the bikers. Oh man,
I like the insight it gives to sort of Imperial technology, like with I don't know, is that guy got like a floating thing he's keying into with his hand and stuff?
Yeah,
and the little quad bike. That's just brilliant.
Yeah. There's a lot of Imperial Guard players who are either really excited that they've got a model that they can convert into Rough Riders, or very cross that they weren't the ones to get the Rough Riders. I don't know which one I'd be.
Because you've got quite a few Gene Stealer Cult models, haven't you?
Yeah, just by accident, actually. So half of Tooth and... I'm serious. Half of Tooth and Claw was Gene Stealer Cult, and Deathwatch Overkill was Gene Stealer Cult, wasn't it? And I have got like a metric ton of Gene Stealers from every edition of Space Hulk that's ever been made, which I need to paint up, really, just to play Space Hulk with painted models. Because I haven't played Space Hulk in such a long time. I really, really want to do that. But this, I have a few, and I'm not sure what to do with them.
Well, I would paint them.
To be honest. Oh, this is the thing. I'd love to paint them. I'd love to do them as an army, but I can't see a place for them in my painting schedule.
Fair enough.
Probably the best way to put it.
So, yeah. I think the guy on the bike with the long rifle is a character. And then the other ones are just dudes on bikes, obviously. The female Magus is just an alternate sculpt, I believe. Don't think there's any different rules for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, very cool. And there's another Gene Stealer Cult character in a new release for Kill Team.
For Kill Team? Brilliant segue there, dude.
Yeah, I know. I was working on that.
Sweet.
Kill Team Arena is the title, but it's also come in with 2 sets, and there's a new tech priest who looks to be going shh. Have you looked at him?
He's a gunslinger, isn't he?
There's the gunslinger
No, I think he's supposed to be a a short-range gunslinger
What, the tech
kind
priest?
of thing. In a tech priest kind. Yeah, I didn't read about it in great detail, that bit, but it was the implication I got was that they were a close-range gunslinger kind of.
No, I think
themes.
you're getting confused because it says
It's very
the
possible.
Kellermorph, which is the Genestealer thing, is the gunslinging hero capable of cutting down enemy characters in a blaze of high-caliber revolver fire, while the tech priest Manipulus specializes in dealing devastating damage at range with the Magna Rail Lance.
Well, yeah, I'm completely wrong then.
But he looks mental.
So Kill Team Arena is a move. It's a set of refined rules to turn Kill Team into a competition. Yes. And by competition, I mean like tournament play, where there's pre-constructed, pre-laid out maps, and you play on those and only those. And it's highly balanced, so the teams that you can use are balanced. I guess it's moving a little bit in a way towards sort of the underworlds.
Yes, yeah.
So Kill Team Arena, I'm sort of envisioning being the 40k version of Underworlds, which is cool. I think that's great.
I was discussing with Chris because we were looking at the picture of the map and trying to decide whether it looked like they'd moved to a square, like a tile-based movement system. But I don't think they have. I think it just happens to be that the models look like they're stood on some squares, some of them, because in other places the corridors just don't work like that.
I don't think it will be. I think it'll be a lot more like Rogue Trader.
Ah, yes, yeah.
I think it's just going to be a sort of that map, which I don't think is going to define all the maps. I think there'll be internal maps and external maps. But we'll see. Looking forward to it. Especially if they support it, if it becomes a tournament thing, if they support it like they've done Underworlds, it's going to be great. Because those tournament packs are great. People get involved because they get the extra stuff. So, if they don't, then I think they're missing a beat, but I can't see them not.
And there's a new kill zone as well.
Yeah.
Which, has that got new, like, I know those buildings have existed before, but there's one there with a roof. I don't remember seeing one with a roof before.
I haven't looked in detail, but I haven't worked out, because I haven't, like I said, looked in detail, whether or not they're the ruins set from the Kill Team Scenery release, or they are the set of ruins from the moon base that they did.
They're definitely the moon base ones, but there's
the moon base ones,
which I don't remember seeing anywhere else. So I think, but it's nice to see another kill zone because and this still might. Well,
I really love the kill zones.
They're flipping brilliant. I've bought 2 of the Sector Mechanicum,
and
Chris has just ordered 2 Sector Mechanicum, and we're going to sort of team up on that project. So we're going to have some cool Necromunda stuff. But it's a lot. It's brilliant. Yeah. But I was sort of looking at it and thinking, I wonder if they're going to stop making those, but actually they're doing another new one.
I don't think they will. I think there's such a good gateway into scenery. I don't think they will. I really hope they don't, because I think they're fantastic. Talking about this is my turn to segue. Talking about battle maps, new one kind of. We'd seen the box front a couple of weeks ago or months ago. But then just broadsided us today. Urban Conquest.
Oh yes, of course.
Which seems to be a little bit of a more fleshed out kind of offering of Firestorm, which they did for Age of Sigmar, which was a campaign thing. So this looks like it's got a campaign map in and a whole bunch of like low level scatter stuff, which looks so good. But I hope they don't get rid of the Fallen or Broken Imperium sets before I can buy a few. Because I do want a few of those statues, and I've never picked them up. But yeah, I think it looks really interesting, so I can't wait to see what that sort of ends up being.
I like the little objective-y type things. There's a couple that look the same from the set, and then there's a couple of different ones.
Yeah, I'm just really excited about the scatter. I was just messing around with my Necromunda stuff earlier, and And I think I'm sort of fallen. It's the age-old debate, isn't it? We've had it so many times about whether to base scenery or not base scenery. And at the moment, the scatter is making me think, why base it?
Yeah.
You know, because you can put so much scatter around it, and you can move the scatter out of the way a little bit if it's causing trouble. I just think that's the way forward, to be honest. Although I'm going to do some stuff on bases and some stuff not. But yeah, really loving that kind of low-level garbage that sits around on the floor. It's just really good.
Yeah, jury's still out a little bit on that. I think.
I know, and I'll probably swing the other way in a couple of weeks. Which is why I think I'm going to do both. Make one building with a base and one without, because I think that's the way to do it. To be honest,
I think in the end, where I am at the moment with it is, firstly, we're assuming, of course, that this is for personal collections and not for regular use at gaming clubs and things like that, where it needs the strength. And secondly, I think having built a lot of scenery in the past, I think what I've found is you need to have it needs to be sort of abstracted away. That means it can be playable. So, like, by putting on a base, what I often want to achieve by having a base is a element of realism around. So, like ruined buildings, for example, having all the crumpled ruin, and things like that, or if it's something where there'd be snow, put it in a snowdrift and such like. But that makes it hard for miniatures to stand on, particularly bigger stuff or things on flying stands. So I think I'm more inclined now to go without a base, but paint up lots of, like you've just said, really, the scatter terrain, but also things like the little barrels and crates and stuff that you can then pile up around the corners and give it that more realistic look. Or not realistic. What do I mean? Immersive look, I suppose.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. There's me chatting about that for a bit.
Well, it's a tough one. I think, I know we've spoken about it before, but neither of us can decide. So if you're listening to this and you have a comment either way, throw it at us, because
we always like to hear.
Quite interested to hear what other people think.
Yeah, not what each other thinks particularly, but what other people definitely. So
we still aren't even remotely there. We're rattling through it. No, I know. We're not even close.
Amble
and Ambots. So
Amble has got me really excited for Blackstone Fortress, just because I love the idea of these little like add-on dungeons, because they're going to be left field all the time. The flipping Amble. We haven't seen an Amble since I was born.
That's true.
It's mad, isn't it?
I had to Google it.
What, to see what the model used to look like?
Yeah, I did. So, yeah.
It's come on a little bit.
Yes, it has. Yeah. Yes, it has. But like you said, the add-on packs are going to be, and it's like I said a while ago, this box set, Blackstone Fortress, Rogue Trader before it, we're kind of moving into the bits of Warhammer 40k that you can't really do as an army, and giving people in the design studios an excuse to make really awesome stuff that wouldn't fit anywhere else, and now it's available. Amble, Rogue Traders, little weird robot dudes, spider drones, all of that stuff. I'm so excited about it.
Yeah.
Because you genuinely don't have a clue what is going to come next.
And I think that's why, because I don't have Blackstone Fortress. Have I said that already? Anyway.
A number of times.
Yeah. I'm just like, hint. But I'm really thinking of getting it, because it fits in really well with the approach I want to take with painting this year. Around, like, doing different
random stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a wonderful model. It is a wonderful model. And of course, so that's Amble from that. And then there are Ambots.
Ambots. I didn't get the reference to start with.
Did you not?
I didn't know, not until I saw a little post saying, "Oh, of course, the Am bots were based on the Am Bull," and I was like, "No way!" Yeah. So, they're cool, really cool, and we're already on our pages. We've had people talking about converting them into obliterators and orc bosses and goodness knows what. So, expect to see some hobby spectacular coming out of those.
Actually, how big are they?
I don't really know.
No, I don't. There is a picture of them somewhere in a cabinet, though. So I think anyway. I would like one, and it comes in a box of 2. So I've already spoken to Chris about getting a box and him having one and me having one.
Are they plastic?
Yeah.
Are they really?
Yeah. Plastic box.
Oh, that is even better.
Yeah, and it builds 2. Yeah, it's cool, isn't it?
That is really cool. Yeah. I thought they were resin, so now I'm even more excited about them.
Yeah, they're plastic. And so what I want to do with mine is a sort of a fusion type thing. You know, I know you don't like the film, but you know the Judge Dredd film with Sylvester Stallone?
I like bits of that film.
What's that massive robot thing?
Oh, I don't remember the family who live in the wastes.
No, the one that like his brother sort of wakes up. I can't remember what it's called. Anyway,
I haven't watched it in such a long time because it's just such a dire representation of Judge Dredd.
Well, it's a fusion. I'm thinking of a fusion between sort of that sort of thing and War Machine type thing. War Machine, the miniatures game, because it's for Cawdor, so it can't be like pristine. I want it to look like they've dragged it out of a pile of scrap metal and jury rigged it, and maybe put like a big combustion engine on the back or something, and weather it up, and lots of chipping, and maybe a couple.
You could get the
of candles sat on the back of it.
Orc workshop thing and put like.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Put the engine on the back.
Yeah, that's a great idea. £25 for that engine. Good. Yeah.
I'm sure you'll find a use for the other bits for Necromunda scenery.
Oh, I imagine so, yeah. Yeah, so
in fact, that's a really good idea to turn that into like a Necromunda workshop.
Yeah, there you go. I said we were trend-setting. You trend-setted in the last segment when you did an unboxing on a podcast. And now you suggesting scenery out of the blue. It's good work.
I know.
So that's that. Was there anything else? Oh, heads! A load of heads. I bought some heads. So a bunch of the gangs got heads.
Not all of them, which was unusual. I like 5 of them.
Yeah, but everybody's currently excited about Delac, aren't they? So like they're like, oh, so they'll let that ebb a little bit, and then they'll go, boom, here's a bit more excitement about Delac, and it'll be like, oh my goodness. Plus, the Delac all look pretty much the same.
Well, that's the point, isn't it? I suppose.
So I've ordered. It's good. I get 16 heads in the Cawdor pack, so I've ordered 1 pack of those. I said to you, my gang has cost me 119 quid so far.
Yeah.
And Necromunda's like that one that game on the side. Oh yeah, you just buy one gang. It ain't going to cost that much. Nope. Nope. Because there's loads of bits. There's that crazy executioner guy that I want. There's what's it called? A Stig, I think, something like that. It's like a mutant that's being ridden by a guy with a heavy stubber to come out. So yeah, lots to do for Necromunda. Bomb rats.
I'm really struggling with Necromunda.
Sorry?
I'm really struggling with Necromunda. I'm feeling a little bit like a kid in a candy store on it.
Yeah.
I painted my Escher and I painted my Goliath, and I liked them both, but I've since gone off my vision for the Escher, if I'm being honest. I don't know. I really wish I had the same passion for a single gang that you have at the moment, and I've been looking through pictures and...
The funny thing is, though, I have to be honest, right? It didn't... When I first saw the Cawdor picture of a Cawdor ganger, I was like, no, I'm not interested in that. Not interested in that. And then off I went. And then it just happened to be that when I was deciding to do some Necromunda,
they released a shot of that big character model dude, didn't they?
Yeah, that guy just come out of nowhere, and I was like, right, I flipping love them, and I bought a gang. And that was it then. I was just like, because I kind of feel like I didn't want to fall in the trap of just ending up with all the gangs, because the bit that interests me is the character development and the variety of weapons. And especially when you're active in other games as well, you can't do that for every gang.
No, I completely agree. And I think that's why I'm stuck, because
you're just not sure really which one to take forward.
Well, I'm not even sure I want to take either of them forward, because I'm quite looking at doing an all-look one, actually.
Oh, yeah, well, definitely. I mean, the thing is, you shouldn't just do... That's a starter box, and one of your things was about getting starter boxes painted. I know it was for 40k and fantasy initially, but you can say... I don't know if you've done the terrain yet, actually. Done the terrain?
I haven't yet. No, I do need to do that.
So if you do the terrain, so you can... That's just a project that you can just park. Interesting that we should talk about that, because I'm looking at my Titanicus and I'm in the same boat with them, where I'm not feeling the buzz for a Legio at the moment, particularly, and I'm actually thinking I'm going to weather up my Legio Gryphonicus Warlord, and then I've got the 3 Knights and that Warlord which go together, which are from the starter set. And then I can just wait until a Legio comes along that really makes me go, oh, and I'll do that as my actual Legio.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Orlok, you get a flipping harpoon, so...
I just love the idea. I could turn Orlok into... I could make them different. I'll tell you what it is. It's the guy, Necromunda Tom, has done such a great job with his Goliath gang, and they're so unique. And that's kind of what I wanted. And he's individually done each model, whereas I've just kind of put them together off the sprue and painted them. And I'm really chuffed with the way they look. But they're not a gang to me, if that makes any sense.
Yeah,
they're not
I understand.
A vision that I've taken forward. So, yeah, that's something I'm going to think of this year. Pun drop and do a new Necromunda gang and really make them my own. So, Titan Death is the last thing to talk about in the 40k segment.
Hey, I segued that. I talked about Titans.
Yep. And that is the new book with a bunch of update stuff in there, hopefully with rules for Legio Astorum, because I want to teleport my bad boys right up your butts.
Did you see? That is great to hear.
Yeah, there you go. You'll be walking across the battlefield and suddenly you'll have a Reaver standing 6 foot behind you.
Yeah, transfers, that's what I'm trying to say. Did you see that there are 3 new Legio transfer sets that have been previewed?
No, I did not.
So, Legio Krytos, which is the green and white guys, the God Breakers.
Tell me one of them is a Astorum.
It's not, man. I'm sorry. It's Legio Krytos, what? Legio Volpus, I think. And Legio something else, which I can't remember. But it'll be out there somewhere on the internet.
Take the knife from my back, as if they've not done that. I wasn't even listening what legions they were. I was completely zoned out then. Seething. I'm seething. Seething!
Calm yourself.
Give me my Astorum transfers. I will not. Oh, talking about Titanicus, I got some of those little Questor Knights. Not Questor Knights. The chargy hand-to-hand combat ones from my little boy. He's dead excited about giving them to me. I was dead excited about getting them.
Yeah, I expect.
Right, let's move on, because we've done a 40k. We've tried our best to cover everything. Frankly, Dan and I have already talked about a lot of this in hours, so we have massively compressed.
And we don't want to subject you to my poor audio performance for too long.
No. I mean, when you're talking, it's fine. It's the dramatics. It's just awesome, dude. I love it. Genuinely do as well.
Right,
let's go and talk about Grotz and trolls and Skaven and undead and
a shortcut to mushrooms.
Hi guys, and we are in the Mortal Realms, and I am buzzing, frankly, about this. So, for those of you who don't know me, very much prefer the good armies to the bad armies, but destruction in Age of Sigmar is my kind of centre ground, where it allows me to collect an army that I can fight against just about anything that comes in my direction. And I absolutely love goblins. I think goblins are hilarious and ridiculous, and they make me laugh. I enjoy playing against them. I enjoy everything about them. So to have the Gloomspire Gits now is just wonderful. And
they're amazing, aren't they?
And they have done such a good job that I don't even know where to start with them, really. So, I mean, to go through the releases of them, it's so many. It's not just like one or two units. There is so many units. Yep. So they did what I thought they were going to do. They have reimagined some of the old ones because, frankly, they are fantastic. Let's go right back to the beginning. So we've talked about them splitting down factions and coming up with like an army out of a unit. So, good example, Iron Jaws came out of the Blackhawks, effectively, didn't they? So one unit in the Orc army has become the Iron Jaws. They've done a kind of U-turn on that with the goblins. They have now put every sort of subgroup of goblins and trolls into one army called the Gloomspire Gits. And I'm guessing that's because they've mapped out all the different factions and realised if they had night goblins and forest goblins and trolls, that's 3 factions. Perhaps you can maybe even make a 4th out of them. That you would, normal goblins. So that's 4 factions. You'd end up with far too many, and I think it's a sensible decision. It allows you to make really varied, cool-looking armies with loads of different scale and height and variety in there, and I think that fits the goblins perfectly. So what they've done,
and also you can still theme your army to one of those factions. You just don't need to buy a separate book for each one.
Absolutely, yeah. Because I mean, my night goblins are not in black cloaks; they're in brown cloaks with red spears to go with my Iron Jaws, because they're, one big thing. So they can all go together without too much trouble. So the units, where do we start? Squig hoppers. Oh my days. Talk about taking something awesome and ranking it up to 11. I just absolutely love them. And the fact that they have lances is just fantastic.
Yeah, I love those. I love those guys with lances.
And so Labyrinth. As soon as I saw them, I was like, they're the goblins from Labyrinth. Absolutely. Definitely. With the little weird things that they run around in at the end of the film with the lances and...
Yes, they totally are, aren't they, actually?
Yeah. Love it.
I can't believe I hadn't seen that. Talking of Labyrinth, though, that there's one with like a big orange face that looks like one of the...
Yeah.
What are the things called that can take their heads off?
I don't know, but they do.
Yeah.
I think there's been some strong Labyrinth influence. And
why not?
I can't blame them. Yeah, so good.
Absolutely. The endless spells as well. Oh, dear. No, sorry. We're supposed to be going through by unit. But it's just so good.
Well, the endless spells are fantastic and so random. I mean, the only one I don't really like is the spiders. I think they look a bit weird, but...
They look a little bit toyish.
Yeah. Possibly the only model in the whole release that I'm a bit disappointed with. It does very much look like a digital cut and paste, that one. But it's
interesting, isn't it? The difference. Like, I mean, I suppose it's the subject matter, but you take that with the spiders, but then look at that moon.
It's so good.
It's flipping incredible, that moon.
Yeah. And I've got a few of those. It's
interesting that they've gone the smoke. They've actually gone with a more sort of cartoony looking smoke, I think.
Well, I suppose you have to, don't you?
Yeah.
Really? I love it.
That mushroom that looks like an explosion is brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the walking cauldron. So good.
Which, for me, was Willow, the walking cauldron.
Do you know, I'm sure I have seen Willow.
If you haven't seen Willow, you need to immediately tomorrow. No, in fact, you're editing tomorrow, so don't do that. Because as soon as you've finished editing, watch Willow, because it's great. And there is actually a Chaos Warrior in it. With a skull face. So,
yeah. What's,
so, yeah.
No, hang on. I'm just thinking what I'm trying to say. What's the other film that's not Labyrinth? Dark Crystal. I need to see that as well. I haven't seen that.
Really?
No.
Oh, days. So, where are we at with Grotz? Yeah, so let's just rattle through the squig herders. Look amazing. Absolutely love them. Absolutely love the squigs. There's a ton of variety in that kit by the look of it as well. And they talk about all the faces being interchangeable. So, literally you could have 30 without them being too identical. I think that's wicked. Prepare for hordes of squigs. I think when it comes to squigs, the Mangler is just phenomenal. I got in such a little hissy that I'd missed out on the old one because I thought it was just gone. And then they released that, and I was like, "Do you know what? I don't care. The old one was good, but that is just ridiculous."
Oh, that is just in another league, mate. And it's not, it's plastic. It can make a hero. It's just flipping epic.
Yeah, and because it's plastic, it's going to be so much easier to transport, keep safe, and modify. So, love it. The character model is great.
Which one?
The crazy one.
Scragrot.
Yep.
The Loon King.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that he's called the Loon King.
Well, he is nuts. Did you hear the video on him? The moon told him to do it.
Yeah, that's why I love it. I keeps going over my head. I just think it's fantastic. The moon told him to do it.
So we've got a nice squiggy selection for the Night Goblins. So you've got the dudes with the sniffer squigs as well coming out. I don't know what they're called, but they hunt for the mushrooms. They look really cool. And then you've got just a selection of random wizardy dudes, which
Snuffle Squig they're called.
Snuffle Squigs.
And their unit is called the Sneaky Snufflers. Oh yeah, fantastic. Those 5 models, mate, are brilliant.
Yeah, they are.
I like the really grumpy, fat-faced one. That's my favourite.
What, the wizard ones, the shaman ones?
Yeah, there's 5 of them, isn't there?
Yeah. They're really good.
They're just brilliant.
I'm so happy that they've fleshed out and given you extra units, like the Snufflers. There's so many. What I think, the one thing that I feel that they're missing is an armoured goblin unit. And I'm hoping that there's still that to reveal, because I think the armoured character looks amazing. And to have a unit, have a unit of 10 of those in like plate armour, I just think would be such a cool thing to have in the Goblin army, especially if they were nowhere near as tough as they looked. That would just make them brilliant.
I'll tell you what we haven't seen yet, which I think we will see. I'd be surprised if we didn't see, is the Scutlings, because there's one of the magicians is got 4 legs, like the Scutlings from Silver Tower.
Well, they may well be in the book.
Oh yeah,
but they haven't been released separately from Silver Tower yet, have they?
No.
And Silver Tower is discontinued, and that's the only place that the Scutling and the Skaven were. So I'm expecting to see the Silver Tower box set released separately, if that makes any sense.
I think they're called Fireys. The orange things in Labyrinth.
Oh, really?
Fireys.
Tangent.
Just come into my head then. I really like all the little creatures on the bases, like the mushrooms with faces, and There is some weird stuff.
Yeah, I love it. The scenery that I want to do for them, with all the mushrooms on, I have to get me some sculpting mushrooms. So I'm just going to have to get over my mushroom hate.
Yeah. New trolls?
Yes. I think for me, these are the trolls are the things that... I mean, somebody made a comment about the trolls on our page about how, the old ones were perfect. What, you didn't need to resculpt them. I agree, the old ones are stunning. Really love the old stone trolls. They're a timeless model, and I'm very glad I bought them before they went. But the new ones are amazing. And the big one, I don't know if that can be built. The two big ones can be built with the same box set. I'm guessing they are. I'm just so excited about them.
Yeah.
I'm so excited about them. Add the troll in from Underworlds. It's just going to be Goblin Mayhem. I really want to do Goblins in February. So the Space Wars are going to do January. And then February is going to be Goblin February. And I'm just going to go Goblin crazy. And but you know what the start of Goblin craziness is going to be, don't you? Rebasing all those flipping goblins.
Oh, yeah.
So that's going to be painful. But never mind. Get over it.
I think that the best thing about the Goblin release is if you click onto Games Workshop's website, there's a banner for Gloomspite Gits at the top, and it's got the squig dice going across and being chased by the little dudes. That's just brilliant.
I'd almost forgotten the squig dice.
I love it.
I looked at them and I thought they are so ridiculous. I mean, you cannot use this in a game, but I need at least 50 of them.
We haven't even talked about the Loon Shrine, dude.
We did a little bit.
Did we?
Yeah, it's a stunning model.
It's great.
And I've still got like 4 or 5 of the little 2P's from Skull Pass.
Oh yeah.
So I'm gonna use one as it is, and then I'm gonna use the others to make like a series of little 2P's out of the bits to make like a little goblin camp.
Yes. That is brilliant, that Loon Shrine.
And then you've got the old the Slayer tied up.
Oh yes,
so I'm gonna do him. I'm really excited about it. I'm so excited about the Grotz. So excited about the Grotz. They're just exciting in the sense that they're just fun. The sinisterness is almost like a trivialness to them. And it makes the army fun to sort of play. And it's so random. If the Squig Hoppers, I like them. I've played with them once, and they're so random. They can either do like a ton of damage or fail to go anywhere. They're unreliable, and they can be underestimated. There's so much going on with the army that, like a block of 40 goblins is not to be underestimated. They'll chew through so much because of their backstabbing ability that they make for a really interesting army to play with and against. And I always used to love it, like creeping forward with my high elves, and then you're like, oh, does they have a fanatic in their unit? Do they have a fanatic in their unit? And then you charge and nothing would happen. They'd be like, oh, phew. Or they would, and then they'd wipe out most of your unit. And that would bother me because they just as easily have gone through their own unit. I just think they're great. So I'm very excited about the Grotz at the start of this year. I'll probably paint up another unit of Hard Boys to go with my Iron Jaws and make like a part of the block of the first part of this year, like destruction. So that's my plan. I've just decided. That's me kind of half sorted. Throwing a bit of Blackstone Fortress, or maybe even Silver Tower. Just the odd model here and there to keep my, mix it up a bit. But yeah, why not? So, moving away from the Grotz, painfully, and onto a different form of Grot. The Blood Bowl Goblins.
Oh, yes.
Finally seen the other secret weapons, and the new troll, which we got previewed a while back in Warhammer Fest, and I think they're cracking. Can't wait to get those into my team.
I'm particularly attracted to the Nurgle Star Player.
Oof. Yeah, hideous. Hideous. It's meant to be hideous, but it is hideous.
Yeah.
And another box set, Dan. Another one.
Oh, yes, of course.
Skaven versus Undead. Carrion Empire. Really interesting choice for the Skaven models, I thought. So they've gone away from like the Horde kind of thing, and they've filled it full of the bigger units, like the Doom Wheel and stuff. Which is really interesting.
Yeah, and they've also, it's very, it's quite Skyer focused, isn't it? Whereas the only sort of book battle tome out for Skaven at the moment is the Moulder one.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Plaguey one.
So maybe we're going to see that.
Well, it says in the article from the open day that there's more exciting news to come for both the Flesh Eater Court players and Skaven players.
Oh, well, those two character models are worth the wait. They're great.
Yeah.
They are. Probably not worth dwelling too much on that, because I think those box sets are the sort of things that when you see them previewed, you have a rough idea of what they're about, but then when you get closer to them and you get to see everything that's in there and the story, there's a lot more to it. And I think Wrath and Ratchet is one where, we only saw previews of the models, but you've got it and you're dead impressed with it, aren't you?
Oh, I love it. I love the books, reading through the books. And the models are great. I've built Karanak, and he looks a lot better in person. I liked him, but I couldn't get away from that feeling. I saw a thing on the internet that said, "Why have I got heads coming out of my armpits?" And I was like, "Oh yeah." But now I've seen him, I'm like, nah, he looks amazing. And the flesh hounds look amazing. They went together really easily.
I would call him Fluffy if he was mine, though.
Yeah.
Do you think the fact that the Slanesh model is a harp is a gentle nod to Harry Potter?
Oh yeah, I hadn't thought of that. That's brilliant, isn't it?
I just wondered if it was, because if it was, I think that's wicked.
Yeah, that harp, I don't have any intention of using the Slaneshi models, but I've had a look at the sprues, and that is insane.
On so many levels.
Yeah, but like, it's just so fine.
Yeah.
And it's been done. It's just brilliant. It's just brilliant. The books are really good. They changed my rules, man. They changed my rules. So, Bloodletters now are on a natural roll, on a roll of a 6 before modifiers. They do a mortal wound, so you can't do what the world and his wife has done, including myself, and give them all the +1 to hits to make them do mortal wounds on better than a 6.
Yeah.
Which is fine, whatever. Because they actually do that damage as additional damage now, instead of stopping the attack sequence. But the damage output for Blood Crushers has gone up, so that's good from a rules perspective. But this leads me into talking about a Stormcast podcast, Games Workshop's doing. So far, Jervis Johnson and a chap called Sam Pearson, I think it was, have been interviewed, and it's been fascinating just listening to the thought process behind the design of Age of Sigmar and where it's gone, where it's going, how they look at the rules, how they try and come up with things that make each battle tone different, so it's not all generic, and how they try and reflect what the army's like and give different play styles. Sam's in particular was really, really interesting. So if anyone's not listened to it, I would very much recommend going and listen to it.
I haven't listened to the Stormcast one yet. I have listened to the Foxcast one, but I need to catch up, really.
They're great, mate. All of them have been brilliant. The one with Darren was really interesting, talking about his journey into painting.
Darren Latham?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, really good.
So, cool. I've run out of steam now. Got so excited. Run around in circles, waving my hands above my head.
Yeah, I know.
I think we've covered everything that's come out, dude. So we've gone through the Grotz, the Trolls, Wrath and Rapture, Skaven vs Undead, the Blood Bowl Goblins. We've got the 2 Underworld gangs coming out this month, and goodness me, have they taken their time coming out.
Are they coming out this month?
Like well, this month or next month. I think they're on the pre-order list for next week.
Oh, okay.
Alongside all the Trolls. I'm not completely certain. I only just caught that before I came on to do this. But, yeah, that's quite exciting. But one of the things I think they're really good at with Age of Sigmar is just keeping what they're doing next under their hat until it's time.
Yeah.
And then going, ta-da! Here's the Deepkin.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, wow! Where did that come from? So it makes for a really excited time as a collector because you just don't know what's happening. You don't know what's coming next.
No.
But the Deepkin is where I was. It's where I got that feeling that if a new army comes out like the Deepkin, I opened that up at 3:00 in the morning because I got up to go to the loo and I thought, I'll have a look to see what's going on with. It was the Depthcon, wasn't it? And I opened up my phone and I was like, oh my days, they are stunning. And I could have literally dropped 500 quid on them there and then, done, dusted, absolutely in love with them. But I didn't because I held myself back because I had so much on to paint and I couldn't see how I'd fit them in. And I'm very glad I did because there was no time for them and they'd still be sat on my shelf now and they would have been a wasted purchase and it would have bugged me. And now, with the Grotz, something that it's just an add-on to what I was doing anyway, has caught my eye even more. So the Idoneth Deepkin is really where that kind of feeling has come from, that if a new army comes out like the Deepkin, even if I'm completely bowled over by them, I'm going to hang on and see how they settle into my psyche, how they fit into my painting schedule and my hobby, because I think it's very easy to just get things on a whimsy and then not do them. So should we head on into the community, dude? Because I think we've done everything that we were intended to talk about in Age of Sigmar.
Absolutely. Let's go into the community. Hail, glorious community. Thanks for coming back, listening to us again. Another community roundup. So what we do is we normally start with shout-outs, and so that is what we will do.
Twit.
So Ben, you go first, mate.
As normal, I tend to shout out people from Instagram, only because really I find that that's the place I see the most cool models, really, because I'm a simple beast and reading stuff just a barrier to pretty pictures. So I'd like to give a shout out to 2 people. One of them is Slow and Purposeless, who actually was a big influence on my Nighthaunt. And he continues to put out just wonderful little sort of paint jobs that are so different from what everyone else does, that I find him really inspirational to follow. And whenever his stuff comes across my feed, I just sit and look at it for a little while because he has a different way of approaching things, I think, when it comes to colour, that I find very inspirational. So definitely worth having a look. His most recent thing is a sort of Inquisitor 28 mixture of models that I don't even know where the bits of it looks quite Eldar-y. There's a bit of I think the Rogue Trader in it. I'm not sure. She's great, and the colour palette's great. But he does all sorts of things from goblins to titans to Nurgle. So I'm pretty sure I've given a shout out to him before. But when people are doing awesome things, they can get shouted out more than once. The next one is Strandhammer. Because I'm a Space Wolf and they jumped out and caught my attention. This chap has done a different colour scheme for his Space Wolves. In the pictures, they look almost sandy, but they look superb. He's been trying to choose his colour scheme for a little while. He went from like a darky bluey grey, and then he went for like a sandy browny grey, and he's gone with a sandy brown grey, and he's finished his first 5-man Primaris squad, and they are blinding. Red and gold are the kind of spot colours. And the sort of markings he's chosen to use, I'm going to shamelessly steal some of the tooth effects he's done on the legs. And he's used the transfer sheet from Forge World as well. And to top it all off, his sort of forest bases are wicked. So yeah, kind of a new way of looking at Space Wolves, I suppose. Because they're Primaris, I think you could even go as far as making them a Space Wolf successor. So, but I think he's just calling them Space Wolves. And going back through his stuff, he's done a load of great stuff for his orcs, which primarily fills up most of his page until he comes to the Space Wolves. So, particularly like his orc captain. What do they call them? Those what do they call those dudes? Freebooters. Freebooter captain. So, yeah, that's my two. Have the ones that caught my attention over the last couple of days.
So I just wanted to take this opportunity really to say thank you, not just to the people who post in the hobby group, because that's really great, of course, but also the people that take the time to interact, provide the feedback people are looking for. Positive comments and constructive criticism. Always really good to see that stuff. And, I'm really proud that there's an active group on there. And every day when I'm at work, if, I need a bit of hobby, I know I can just open the group and see some really interesting things going on. And
Shall we just tell people how to get to it? Because we've had a couple of questions. On our main page, if you follow us on Facebook, there is a link to the associated groups, and it's in there. Otherwise, you just search the 2P's hobby forum, and that will get you there.
So, of course, I cannot start my shout-outs without talking about some mighty Khorne warriors. Rob Davies has done Garrick's Reavers, and I think they're superb. Really like the colours he's gone for. Really like the skin. The base on Garrick is excellent. And actually, I don't normally like the little name tags that you see on the fronts of the bases. But in this case, I think he's done them. They look really good. Really think they are very good. So if you guys are in the group and get a chance, do go and have a look at those. Really good job. And I look forward to seeing what Rob does next. Whether that's going to be another Shadespire band, I don't know.
He's done a great job with his face, because actually Garrick's face is not what other people might have found it easy, but I didn't find it an easy face to paint. The beard sort of does weird things with it a little bit, and he can look a little bit beady-eyed and odd. But I think he's done a fab job of him.
So another thing I really like and I think is excellent is coming from Curtain Games. So Rob is working on Korax, and he's looking ace, and black is not an easy colour to do. And I think he's really doing it justice. I really like it. So awesome work there. Do check that out. But also, somebody is printing, 3D printing terrain for the guys, and they've printed an Osgiliath. Not Osgiliath, what am I talking about?
Isengard.
The Tower of Isengard, or thank the Tower of Isengard, and that is absolutely excellent.
That was almost the
Really
final
good.
straw for me when I saw that, and it's like, oh, it's printed on a 3D printer. I was like, I am buying a 3D printer. If it takes me a month of nothing, no eating, nothing, and all of my wages can go onto it, I will starve myself. Because I need one, and I need one now.
And I can't possibly do this whole segment without mentioning John and his mad run of Blood Reavers. I mean, 40 of them in one go. I think he's worked through most of the skin now, but what a nutter, firstly. And also, when they're done, a true champion of Khorne, which, you know, everybody needs to be a true champion of Khorne, ultimately, don't they? So,
Yeah, I know
there we
the
are.
pain
Well done, John.
of, speed painting those, or batch painting those. So hats off to him.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, painting competition then. So the painting competition that I have put some posts up about is now up and going. And this is something we want to run all year. Definitely want some feedback, see what you guys think. The idea is to have a theme each month. So the idea behind having a theme is what I really want to encourage is lots of diversity, people doing whatever they want. Now, Ben and I, we make no secret of it, we're mainly Games Workshop fans, but we love miniature soldiers of all types. So, for example, this month, with it being arcane power, I know there's some fantastic wizard sculpts out there, D&D stuff that, you know, people might want to pick up. At some point, we'll probably do fantasy football, and you've got things like Guild Ball and Dread Ball, as well as Blood Bowl. So, you know, let people enter something they want to do and they're passionate about. About halfway through the month, I will communicate what the next month's going to be. And the idea really is that you guys in the hobby group vote on which one is your favourite, and then that's the winner for that month, and the winner will be posted into the main Facebook page and across the different 2P's media. So hoping to, you know, bring a few more people into the hobby group as well, because the more people in there, the more will be going on, the more feedback people will get. Kind of drives itself really then, and also just, you know, see if people try something different. And if you've got suggestions for painting competition title, the theme, sorry, then let me know. Just drop me a message, because, you know, I haven't got a lot going on in my head, to be honest, and I have to think up 12 of them. So yeah, send me a message and let me know if there's any themes you particularly like to see. That'd be ace. I'm working on my Gaunt Summoner because I wanted to do something from Silver Tower. I know Tom, normally Tom the Tank, is working on a cool Stormcast Arcanum guy, or girl, I think, actually, sorry. And Ben the Base is working on the Tidecaster for the Idenef Deepkin, and that's part of an army that he wants to do moving forward. And we'll actually be playing some Skirmish as well fairly soon to do that. But yeah, so there's a few people doing it. Please post up work in progress, and I look forward to seeing what we get.
I mean, I'm keeping them like broad and maybe a bit sort of odd as well, to challenge people to think about what they're doing, mix up their painting, and just have a bit of fun, really. Already really exciting to see some of the things that people are coming up with, so looking forward to that. I might paint the old Orc Shaman with the big skull thing, a big like bone staff.
Oh yeah, he's awesome.
Absolutely
I always
love that model. It's one of my all-time favourite models, and I really would like to have him painted. So I'm thinking about doing him, or either that or a Space Wolf Librarian, because I haven't got a Space Wolf Rune Priest done yet. So one of those two. Awesome. So we've got some a ton of events to go through, to be honest. So we're probably not going to go through the calendar. We'll pick a few big ones up and coming. So we'll probably back and forward as we remember them. But the first one for local people is on the 2nd of February, and the 3rd of February is the Plymouth Association of War Games event, gaming show, which has got bring and buy. It's got tables from all sorts of different people, traders and people, games developers. A huge competition tournament run by Cross Swords, which I think is practically booked out now. I think they've got 37, so that's going to be quite good. And if anything, it's a great atmosphere. It's well worth popping in. Parking was a bit limited, so get there as best as you can in the morning, and you'll find no problem. But I think I enjoyed it last year a lot. So.
And where is it being held?
It's the
this
YMCA
year, Ben?
building, so it's quite easily to access. We've had a really exciting thing come across our desks. We're going to have a chat with the guy who's organising it and one of the future episodes, so he can give us a full lowdown. But a big event being organised in Bristol called Roll Dice. Is that right, Dan?
Yeah, Roll Dice is
and that's in an arena. So I mean, a stadium practically.
Yeah, I mean, it's got the potential to be massive, and it's really nice to see that sort of event coming to Bristol. Bristol's really well placed with the M5, M4 coming in, bringing across from South Wales, London, down from Birmingham, so really good location. And Cult of Paint are involved, so that's Andy Wardle, Henry Steele, those guys painting fantastic miniatures, but not just that, leading the way in being open, teaching, doing lots of painting lessons. They've got a really cool airbrush out now, so it'd be great to have those guys there, and they'll be doing a painting competition as well. So it's got all the right ingredients: Age of Sigmar, 40k tournaments, Horus Heresy gaming event, and the painting competition. Traders. Looking forward to speaking with John about it, to be honest.
I really, really am. So the dates of that, I've put that in the calendar, so that is 6th and 7th of July. So it's quite a long way away, but we wanted to give people the heads up now so that they can start putting it in their diary, make sure they turn up. So a couple of local events. We got Death and Glory by Curtin on the 19th of January. That's a 40k doubles. And we've got a 40k tournament the weekend after this has been released at Imperial Games in Exeter. And that's a PowerPoint tournament, 85, strictly WYSIWYG tournament. Is there any other big events that we wanted to shout out this month, Dan?
Yeah, so Bristol Independent Gaming, I've got some events coming up. We've got the Underworld's Night Vault Quarter 1 Championship, usually well attended down there. And that's obviously going back to what Ben and I were discussing earlier about prize support from Games Workshop. So there's all of that in place. Bristol Steamrolling 2 2019. So that's a War Machine and Hordes event down there. Friday Night X-Wing. So that's every Friday. But on the 18th there of January. 20th of January, a Super Saga tournament. And looking a little bit further forward, February the 17th, a Big Day Out. So that's a Middle-earth event. And I know Jim is really passionate about Middle-earth, loves it. So definitely going to be a good one, that is. All of that stuff's on their Facebook page, so go and check that out for those events. So that's all up in Bristol. And then down in Newton Abbot, our friends at Terra Games. Few things coming up. So there's the Terranian Open War 3. So that's a 40k tournament using the Open War cards to generate your missions. And if you fancy something a little bit more structured than that, that's on the 27th, of January. On the 24th of February, the Terranian Onslaught. So a little bit more structure. 2,000 point 40k singles tournament. Also, these guys, very much if you're into Magic the Gathering at all, they have a Magic the Gathering Modern League on the 10th of January, and then on the 19th, in the morning and in the afternoon, and then on the 20th in the morning and in the afternoon, they've got pre-release for the Ravnica Allegiance. Now, I won't lie, I've played some Magic in the past, but I'm sure if you're into the game, you know what that means. But again, just like with Big, this stuff's on the Facebook page, so check that out if you are interested in those things.
Yeah, and we've got Barb's Games. Have got they had a tournament today or recently. Was it today? Yeah, it was, wasn't it? So I hope that went well. And that's down in Red Ruth, and they've got a 40k one coming up in 10th of February. So there is genuinely loads going on. So.
And of course, we can't forget the awesome chaps at Curtain Games. So in Crediton, so they've, as usual, got a really full schedule. So 19th of January, Death or Glory 2, Warhammer 40k doubles tournament. 20th of January, a Magic the Gathering. They've also got the Allegiance pre-release, which is a sealed deck event. Southwest Imperial Assault Regional on the 26th of January. And the Yu-Gi-Oh! Savage Strike Sneak Peek. So if you're into Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards, Curtain Games have got you covered as well. Age of Sigmar Masters on the 2nd of February. Quite like to go to that, but it's the PAW show, so we'll be down there. 40k Narrative Campaign on the 9th of February. Catacombs of Curtain, so that's one of their Warhammer Underworlds events. We've spoken about those before. Marcus, who's a good friend of the show, he's really into that, so they're really good. So loads going on. I also wanted to take the opportunity to shout out the Gloucester Gloucester tabletop gaming community. These guys have contacted us to ask us to shout them out, which we'd obviously do, but they've got a real mission to just be a hub for community activity in Gloucester. So they meet on a Tuesday at 7 o'clock at the Podsmead Community Centre. So they've got a Facebook page, you can check that out, or a group that you can get involved in, but they welcome pretty much everything. There's a great big list they sent me. So Age of Sigmar, 40k, Blood Bowl, Necromunda, Kill Team, Star Wars, Infinity, War Machine, Hordes, Magic the Gathering, Netrunner, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Shadespire. The list can go on and on, it says. You can even come and play Cluedo. So there we go. I know there's a bar as well, so members do need to be 18 or over, but I remember from my days with Cross Swords Gaming Club, there's nothing quite like playing a game and drinking a beer, although it did have quite an impact on my tactics at times, at least that's my excuse.
And I think that is our roundup, isn't it? I did want to talk about the White Dwarf, because that's... I'm really excited about the new White Dwarf. It's gone through a bit of an evolution over the last 5 years. Some of them have been not as well received as others. I really liked the White Dwarf, as it has been. It's just a nice magazine, but it seems like the way they're going, the way they're talking about it, is to go back to its roots, and I don't know if they physically moved the team into the middle of the design studio, or they've sort of hypothetically moved them into the middle of the design studio. But that's what they've talked about in the editorial, that they're now in the middle of the process, picking up stuff that's going on around them, and to expect to see rules and insights that we haven't seen before. And I think this month is a really good example with there's a ton of skirmish stuff in there, like for Age of Sigmar skirmish, and a return of the chapter approved articles, not the chapter approved, Index Astartes article in there. There's that used to run a long time ago, and they released them as a separate book. Separate books. There was 4 of them, basically just sort of cobbling together of the White Dwarf articles. I'm just really excited about the whole concept that the magazine is going to be a place where rules are going to be in there. I hope it doesn't break things apart too much, fracture them apart too much. but just cool little add-on stuff and things like the Index of Starters. It's just going to make it so much better. And I can remember the days, back in the day, where you got the cardboard pullouts for new units in there. You know, I'm really hoping that that's going to be what we're seeing. Not necessarily cardboard pullouts in the middle of the magazine, because it makes them weird and floppy afterwards with a dodgy spine. But stuck in the, you know, in the plastic sheath, that kind of stuff. Be really, really excited to see where they go with it. So, if you have been out of touch with the White Dwarf for a while, it might be worth picking up this one just to see whether you like the new direction, because I think I really do. And I'm kind of excited for the future. So that's my little bit.
Yeah, I'd echo what you say, Ben, really. I think it's great. I really enjoyed some of the articles, really enjoying the stuff where the designers are talking about their thought processes around things, much like in the podcast. Particular style. The battle report was really cool. A lot more detail in there than we've seen sometimes. I've always given White Dwarf a bit of a chance and brought them up. Got rid of a lot, really, and now I'm playing the tiny violin because I wish I hadn't, and I'd love to rebuild my collection. So if anyone's getting rid of White Dwarf, let me know. But yeah, another new era, and I shall look forward to each one popping through the door.
Right, so on that note, let's move on to the Wilds. Hi guys, and welcome to the first Into the Wilds of 2019. I've got a few things I wanted to talk about, things that have caught my eye and things that I'm excited about in the wider world of wargaming. The first one is, as you know, I've been doing Test of Honor, which is a samurai skirmish game, which is done by Warlord Games. It's quite good. Model-wise, I've spoken about them before, but I'm quite excited about a new release of models done by Footsore that are specifically made for Test of Honor. Footsore have got involved because they've kind of done a joint venture with Warlord Games, as was pointed out to me by John from Bodmin Gaming. Because I was quite excited about why Footsore have got involved, and he was like, well, if you paid attention, they've done this other game. I was like, okay. And they have, called...
That was a great just realisation of John there.
Done Mortal Gods, which is a Test of Courage, which is a Greek version. But let's go back to the Samurai models. So the Samurai models, they've done effectively the Seven Samurai, from the film The Seven Samurai, which, if you haven't watched it, by Akira Kurosawa, is kind of what the Magnificent Seven is based on. And they are wonderful models, and I'm very excited about that new connection with Footsore, because they make great historical sculpts, and I'm really, really looking forward to seeing the range expanding with them, like officially, because you get cards with them for Test of Honor, so I'm really looking forward to seeing what they come up with. And I think it's a brilliant place to start the Seven Samurai, because for the people who are into samurai, I tend to watch old samurai films like Akira Kurosawa's films, and so it's a real kind of, for me, I saw them and I was like, oh, it's just brilliant, because that's the films that got me into it. So yeah, they're really excited about those. I will put a link up with the models on our show notes, so you can see them while you're listening, or look at them when you get home, or when you've pulled the car over and pulled your phone out.
They look really good, don't they?
Great. They are. They're great. And they really capture the Seven Samurai too. Really like them. And as a kind of segue, Mortal Gods, a kind of Greek hoplite, Spartan-y kind of version of Test of Honor, it's looking really cool too. So that's, I think, effectively still in development. At the moment, its primary page is a Facebook one. You can head on over to there. If you type in Mortal Gods Test of Courage, it will take you to a web page that essentially just links you to the Facebook group. And you can see how that's coming on. And so I'm excited for the official release of that because I think I love hoplites. Frankly,
I do as well.
They look awesome. With the massive shields with all the cool stuff painted on the front of them. There's so much of their character is taken into fantasy models. I just loved arranged ranks of them, so I'm quite likely, especially if the buy-in point is the same as Test of Honor, to consider that. So worth a look out if you're interested in kind of historical skirmishy games. They're two that I think are well worth a look. The next thing I wanted to talk about is I've had a little bit of a love-hate relationship with this over the years. Prodos's Alien vs Predator. So if there was another science fiction universe that I loved as much as 40k, the close runner-up is Aliens, essentially, for Alien vs Predator. So particularly the Colonial Marines, the second film Aliens. So Alien vs Predator is just or should be my perfect kind of next step game, but it's had problems that I have really struggled with. So the changing scale has just bugged me so much that I want to pull my hair out sometimes. But whether it went from 31 to 28, and there's been a whole load of stuff that they've released here and there and everywhere, that things like the invisible predators made out of clear resin, that were released sort of at shows and on special things. A lot of that now, I've been to their website recently and I'll tell you why in a second, but a lot of that now seems to now be available on their website, which I'm super excited about because there's now a proper range of that kind of stuff. Rather than being irritated that you missed out, which a lot of people I found were, they're now available. What I've noticed though, Dan, is that they're talking about the new models as being 31mm scale. Now, I've asked a question and I haven't unfortunately got a reply as to whether they have upscaled their new range or whether they're just calling what is clearly a 28mm model when you look at them next to the old ones 31mm, which would really frustrate me. That would genuinely get up my nose.
There's not a lot on their website, there's no description or anything.
No, but some of the newer because a lot of their new stuff is single part, so made in one cast, unicast they call it, of resin. And it looks fantastic. But they've just released a new set of Aliens and they're saying they're 31mm. And I've gone back through some of the others and they're saying they're 31mm too. What is that? Is that if they've gone from 31mm and they've gone to 28mm and now they're going back to 31mm, then seriously, what is going on? If they've changed the scales of the current ones up to 31mm, I would be happier with that. If they're calling 28mm scale 31mm scale to just stop the questions, that would frustrate me even more, I think. So it's kind of a double-edged sword, this one, because the new models that they're releasing have really, really captured me again. So there's a multi-part Colonial Marine kit, which just looks superb. There's the unicast Aliens. There's different ones coming out all the time. And there's, unicast of just about everything now. And they all look pretty good. Some of them, do look odd because they're unicast, but overall, for example, a good example for that, rather than just making a sort of pass-away statement, I think the unicast Queen, as good as it is as a kind of diorama piece of her coming through a door, I don't like that as much as the multi-part resin Queen, which looks wicked and you can do practically what you want with it. So I don't know. I think Prodos have done a great job of pulling things together. They've just released, which is why I was drawn to looking at the page again, a kind of update or expansion to the game called Hot Landing Zone, which is quite reasonably priced at £40. which comes with a unit of aliens, a predator, and a unit of 5 prisoners, as in the style of prisoner from Alien 3, which is quite cool. I don't know how it. The board set pieces look quite interesting. Like, it looks like it's outside rather than inside. Because the original game was tiles like inside the buildings, like from Aliens. So
Yeah.
I don't really know how 5 prisoners with pipes are going to fare against a predator and 5 aliens, but I'm pretty sure they're not. So
they're not going to be great, are they?
I'd like to see what the game dynamic is, but I think for 39 quid, that's pretty reasonable priced.
Yeah.
And the Hunt Begins, I think, is around 50. So they're not. I'm actually thinking of biting the bullet and buying the new Hunt Begins, which is their starters box with they've got the new unicast models in, and I've said this before, and treating the older ones as kind of display pieces or something. I don't know, or seeing how they actually do stack up next to each other, or I don't know. We'll see. But I am tempted again. Let's put it that way. But I thought I'd sort of have a chat about them partly because I'm frustrated about it, really. And I think I just do need to dive in and give it a shot.
Well, hopefully this will help, this will help you find the love on it, because it's a genre that you do love. I remember how excited you were when you got the Cayenne dropship.
Yeah, which now I've got like some better airbrushing skills. I think that's a project I need to get my teeth into, really.
Yeah.
Because it's a beautiful model.
Something that I get frustrated by, probably unnecessarily, is how many sites now, especially like miniature sites that put pictures up of the miniatures, but it's the CAD.
Yes, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Looking thing.
Yeah, the CGI version. Yeah, rather than the actual model.
Yeah.
And there is a difference, definitely, between the two.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I know exactly what you mean. It is a bit. For me, it's a barrier because I don't know, how good the production quality is. I can say hand on heart that the Prodos models that I have got are absolutely gorgeous. So they do look as good as they say they're going to look. But there are other companies where if they were the first time I'd seen their company and they were showing me a CAD picture, I would be very hesitant.
Yeah.
Very hesitant. So,
so while we're talking about games, are you finished on,
I've got
on Prodos?
Yeah, I've got nothing more to say about it.
I was just going to say, so Warlord Games are bringing out a fantasy rule set.
Yep.
Warlords of Erewhon, I think, would be how you pronounce it. At the moment, they've just done Orcs and Undead, and I believe it will be based on Gates of Antares, so by Rick Priestley. Interestingly, I was just looking then to try and get some pictures of the miniatures, but even on the website, in the store, if you click on the item, there are no close-up pictures of the miniatures.
I don't find Warlord do that very well at all for any of their range, to be honest. Which I find a bit of a shame.
No. Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, I'll be interested to know if anyone has tried it or knows a bit more about it. Please let us know, because I'm intrigued. Not something I'm going to be diving on into. I've already got the box ticked for fantasy gaming, but always interested to see what's going on.
Yeah. I think I dabble in a fantasy skirmish game, but I'm not so sure about going in for a full-scale one. For sure.
I think if anything, it would be Blood Red Skies I'd go for from them, but
aeroplanes.
I've talked about that before. Yeah, aeroplanes. Yeah.
Right. So that is us, I think. Unless you've got anything else to say. Yeah. So
no, I just found myself on the Conflict 47 website. Looking at a German King Tiger with a heavy railgun.
Yes.
There you go.
Conflict 47's good. It is. So we'd like to give as we normally do, huge shout out to our patrons because you really do allow us to expand what we do. And just knowing that people want to support us like that just makes us more willing to carry on, frankly, because sometimes it can get quite a lot of work.
Yeah. Yes.
But we love it, so it doesn't really bother us. But having you guys supporting us on Patreon really does put some fire in our belly. So big thank you to you guys. As ever, we're on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at the 2P's podcast on all three of those platforms. We're on YouTube as well, if you fancy watching some of the videos that we are increasingly doing as we find the time. And finally, our website is 2psinapod.com, and we put blog posts up there, painting guides and all sorts. And I've got a few to go up soon too. So thanks for hanging out with us at the start of 2019, and look forward to seeing you soon.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.